Welcome back to Megazoids Hut. Today we'll be looking at the CYD RetroGo by DynaMight. I've beautifully presented it here, the parts. I think it's been a very popular project for DynaMight because, well, I'm just basing that on the fact that he's got 5 builds at the bottom here, which is fairly unusual. You know, generally you put a project up, nothing, you know, just tumbleweed. You might get a comment and that's it. And he's got 5 builds there, which is really impressive. And I suppose it's people are attracted by the fact that it's fairly straightforward. It's not too many parts. It is cheap. It's cheap yellow display for a reason. And then the additional parts, none of those are expensive. So yeah, he's done really well with that. It's not bad looking. It's actually the case is well designed. So yeah, so this is it. Printed the case, obviously, as you can see, in gold silk PLA, and then I've been doing a top coat of top clear coat of, well, Rust-Oleum is what I use, because, you know, I was finding that every time I pick these things up, I just immediate fingerprints, whereas you can't see them now. Plus, with this particular case, it's a perfect fit. You know, you've got a shiny case anyway. And yeah, and I've sort of cheated slightly. I've started on it already. I've done the PSRAM mod, which I found quite difficult. And you've got to get the chip right in the middle, which I was getting wrong because it's the wrong footprint. The chip's the wrong size for the footprint. So you have to get it dead center to get these solders to work. And then cutting these, there's 2 trace cuts you've got to make. One you can just about see there, and then one is underneath the wire. And those are quite tricky without magnification, and really, if it wasn't for that, I would say the project is a fairly straightforward, almost doddle really, but this thing bumps it up a little bit. So I'd say it's if you had to give it a score, it'd be about a 3 out of 5, I think. Difficulty. I haven't done the audio mod. You've got to change these 2 0-ohm resistors to a 22 and a 45k. And then the guide, which is not DynaMight's, suggests that you do a sort of resistor sandwich. You know, you put a resistor on top of a resistor, which means they're in parallel, and it changes the value. So if you put a 100k on top of a 68k, you end up with a 40k. And I understand why the suggestion is there, because 40k is a really unusual value. Most people are not going to have 40k in the house. I'm either going to put a 43k or a 33k in there instead, because I can see this going wrong. Anyway, so I've got to do that mod, the audio mod, and then very recently, in the last couple of weeks, 2 or 3 weeks, DynaMight's made a change to the PCB. So this is the old PCB, which I got sent to me because I'm special. And he's changed the PCB to include this, which is a boost chip or a boost IC or a boost board. Boost board is probably the best way to say it. It's absolutely microscopic. I've never seen one this small before. It's strangely expensive as well. You know, it's like. Oh, look at that, crazy! But I mean, it's got two decoupling capacitors on there, which is, you know, it's all there. I don't know what the ripple's like on it. I don't know. I'm sure it performs okay. There's good reviews on it. Anyway, yeah. So DynaMight was finding that you know, as the battery, you know, runs down, this thing really needs 5 volts. But you can get away with just directly putting a battery on it. But as the 5 volts, as the battery, drains, so you're getting sort of lower and lower voltage on the battery, then he was finding the gameplay was just stuttering, flickering, and just really needed a boost chip, which totally makes sense. So I'm going to have to inline mine, because obviously there's no footprint on there. But anyway, yeah, pretty straightforward. Very, very similar to the previous project I did a month ago from DynaMight, also from DynaMight. Did I mention these? I got these buttons done by well, these guys, because I had an order anyway, and buttons for me, I like them nice and smooth. So I'm either going to be there for hours sanding them down, or I'm going to get them done up by somebody, because I don't do resin. And yeah, very, very cheap, couple of bucks. So yeah, that's it. Let's stick it together. We're looking at what, probably about an hour, I would say. Oh, here it is, finished. That's no major problems putting it together. Let's give it a go. So this is DynaMight's own GUI sort of thing for RetroGo, but it's just RetroGo at the end of the day. What he's done is something very clever. It's the he's created a bootloader program, so you can change. You can go into RetroGo, or you can use a video playing app. Duke, standalone sort of Duke, Rise of the Triads, Wolfenstein. This one I didn't even know what this was. Some sort of platformer game. Okay. Yeah. Yeah, this is right up my alley, this one. He says sarcastically, I don't really know how you're supposed to get any higher than that. Oh, look. I broke the game. What does that say? Yeah, so there's different, there's different apps you can get into. The movie, I don't want that. Luckily it didn't load. Very clever, the bootloader. I think he's just got a random Pringles advert here. Luckily that's not copyright, I would imagine. Doom, well, we've all seen this stuff before, but yeah. So check it out on Instructables. Give it a go if you think you can manage it, and as I said, probably intermediate level. So yeah, I mean, a great little handheld. I would say my only criticisms would be not of the handheld itself, the software, which is brilliant. He's done a great job on the bootloader. This is like more than anybody else has ever done with an ESP32, to be honest, if you're completely honest. The bootloader and the fact that you can do so many different things. You can just sit there and watch, videos if you wanted to. It's absolutely fantastic. So what he's done there is brilliant. I'd say the only many criticisms would be just of the cheap yellow display itself and not the project. The audio, even with the mod, I find the audio to be a little bit subpar. And these ESP32s that they use, let's face it, I mean, that doesn't even tell you what it is. I mean, it's got to be a clone or something that was destined for the bin. I don't know. But the performance doesn't seem to be quite as good as a regular ESP32. I suppose you might be able to even change that, but anyway, great job, and thanks for watching.